Welcome to this edition of SAU Magazine, a weekly program featuring news, profiles, sports, commentary, interviews, and special events, all coming to you from the campus of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
This is Marla Tucker with commentary. Lately, most students are facing problems with the computer lab. The new computer system in which we have to present a student ID and type in a social security number just to get through the door is getting much talk from the students. This procedure takes valuable time away from each student as he waits in line to go through this process to enter and exit the lab. We understand the importance of security, but the amount of red tape one must go through is simply unnecessary. The reason for the new security measures is to be able to prove when misconduct has taken place with the computer system. Many students consider the new system to be a waste of time. A solution is said to be in progress, but it will take a while. The computer lab plans to eventually get a Scantron like the one used in the cafeteria so we can simply scan our ID cards and go. The solution is a good idea, but for the time being, students who are serious about education must suffer. This has been Marla Tucker with commentary.
This is a Southern Arkansas University News Brief. I'm Tracy Campbell.
And I'm Jennifer Lewis. 22 students at SAU have worked or are currently working to complete an internship through the School of Business at SAU. The 22 interns comprise the largest number of students to ever participate in the program during a fall semester. The internship experience is designed to enhance the traditional classroom study of the School of Business, says Dr. Gail White, Professor of Management and Director of the intern program at SAU. The program offers a joint opportunity for area business executives and the business faculty to enrich the academic experience of students. According to White, SAU students gain valuable career experience when they participate in the intern program.
In conjunction with the Christmas parade on December 4th, SAU has scheduled the annual celebration of candles, carols, and caring. The community and SAU have joined efforts again this year for the annual celebration. The parade will kick off the festivities at 4:30 p.m., followed by caroling at 5:30 p.m. on the front steps of Overstreet Hall. The carolers will be accompanied by the SAU and Magnolia High School bands. The lighting of Overstreet Hall, sponsored by the Residence Hall Association, will begin at 5:50 p.m. Immediately following the lighting ceremony, the Heritage Singers will lead a procession to the Bruce Center, where the lighting of the bell tower and Bruce Center Christmas trees will take place. The SAU Madrigal Singers will perform at 6 p.m. on the main floor of the Bruce Center. The parade winners will also be announced. The public is invited to join SAU students for a festive holiday dinner in the Bruce Center from 6:15 until 7:30 p.m. Tickets for the dinner are $5 for adults, $3 for SAU students who do not have meal tickets, and $2 for children 11 and under.
A test that all SAU students must take near their junior year has shown some surprising results in a span of data scores compared from the past 3 years. The Collegiate Assessment of Academic Proficiency, the CAP test, is a test of general education, according to Dr. Dan Ball, Vice President of Academic Affairs. It is mandated by the state of Arkansas that all public schools administer the test to college students who have completed between 45 and 60 semester hours. Thus, this test is mainly given to those students nearing or holding a junior status at a university. The test, given in the spring and fall on national test dates, is primarily an objective exam with an essay writing section, according to Ball. The exam tests student skills on 4 different levels: English and writing skills, reading, mathematics and science reasoning. Though the exam, formerly called the Rising Junior Exam, requires no minimum scoring, those scoring the test can usually determine if the student has blown off the test, and those students may be asked to retake the CAP test. Ball commented that although many SAU students scored above the national average, it is nearly impossible to break down the complex data scores to determine the exact number. Ball and Director of Institutional Research Dale Whitman were able to determine from the data that SAU has witnessed an improvement of student scores in the past 3 years.
While physical plant employees filed into the break room for a last-minute meeting on October 30th, President Campbell and members of the Board of Trustees met in another building to decide the fate of the workers' jobs. Few workers took leave to attend the board meeting, but those who did arrived in time to hear Dr. Jack Harrington, chairman of the Board of Trustees, motion in favor of outsourcing. Mayor Lane Jean seconded the motion to outsource motor pool, HVAC, high voltage electric, and some vacant custodial positions. All outsourcing agreements with private contractors will include the stipulations that no plant employee will lose his or her job. No physical plant employee was located who agreed to comment on the record. One worker said the ones who did speak out were demoted. We are shifting some people, Campbell added when asked about recent demotions. There are some people that were supervisors who lost their supervisory status. They didn't lose their pay. Almost all except 2 people took it pretty well, said Campbell. Campbell stated he didn't know what areas of the plant in which demotions were made. Students were asked if the quality of the custodial work has improved since Dixie Maintenance was contracted. Tia Brown, who lives in Talbot Hall, thinks it has improved. They're on the job and they keep the bathrooms clean, said Brown. I have an 8 a.m. class and they're always here working before I get up. According to Gamble, outsourcing custodial work has been working very well. It's costing us a bit more money, said Gamble, but outsourcing is not to save money. It's for efficiency.
This has been an SAU News Brief.
SAU Sports, I'm Andy Garcia. The Southern Arkansas University volleyball team is 15-16 overall and 3-4 in the Gulf South Conference after Friday night's win over the Texas A&M Commerce Lady Lions. SAU won this match in 5 close games before a home crowd: 13-15, 6-15, 16-14, 15-5, and 15-13. We started off slow, said head coach Allison Keeley, but we came back strong. I think we're playing very well right now. Shanna Hamilton had 20 kills in the match, while Michelle Sullivan followed with 19. Hamilton also had 16 digs, followed by 15 for Tanya Singleton. Meredith Meyer contributed 48 assists. Misty Heller led the Lady Lions with 23 kills and 16 digs. With 4 games left in the season, Hamilton already has shattered the 433 record set by Lori Meyer in 1993. John Bland began his 5th year as the assistant football coach at Southern Arkansas University this season. He was promoted to offensive coordinator after working with quarterbacks the past 3 years. He will continue working as a strength and conditioning coordinator. Bland is remembered in the state of Arkansas as former quarterback for the Razorbacks under head coach Ken Hatfield. Bland played the position between 1985 and 1988. He was the team captain of the 1988 Southwest Conference Championship team. The opportunity to play up there was great, said Bland. Coach Hatfield was a good Christian man and recruited good people. That's SAU Sports. I'm Andy Garcia.
Bill Herrin.
And I'm Dean Johnson, and we're here today with Dr. Roger Worsley. He's the Chancellor at SAU Tech. Welcome to our program.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we'll start today by asking you what is exactly is your primary educational function at SAU Tech?
Well, SAU Tech is a 2-year college made up of 3 components. One of those is a 2-year college program. In addition to that, we also operate the Arkansas Fire Training Academy and the Arkansas Environmental Academy. And I'm the administrative head of all 3 of those organizations.
How does one get into the Fire Academy?
The one gets into the Fire Academy by getting hired by the city fire department and then referred to the school, and they come to Camden for 8 weeks to go through their basic training. When they leave, they're certified as a fireman.
Where are you originally from?
Well, I was born in Hunter, North Dakota. Went to Michigan. My father worked for Dow Chemical Company, and I went all the way through public schools in Midland, Michigan. Then I went to Arizona State University on a football scholarship and graduated from there. And then I lived in Arizona, Alaska, Texas, and finally in Arkansas.
Were you a teacher before taking the administrative position at SAU Tech?
Yeah, when I went to college, my goal was to coach football. And if you're going to coach football in the public schools, you have to teach. So I was hired in Yuma, Arizona as a science teacher, taught physical science, and coached football and swimming. And when I went to Mesa, Arizona, 4 years later, I taught physical education, which was my major in college, and coached football and golf.
How'd the football team do?
Football team won the state championship in UMaine and Mesa both. And I was hired at the community college in Arizona, in Mesa, Arizona, when they started playing football as a football coach.
So you've taught at the university level before?
The community college.
Community college. What are the responsibilities being a chancellor?
Basically, I report to the president of SAU Magnolia, Dr. Campbell, and through him to the board of trustees of SAU Magnolia. But basically, he said, I hired you to operate that institution. You go ahead and do that, and if you got a problem, give me a call. And he's a very good person to work for. He's non-directive, leaves you alone as long as things are going fine. And I think in the 2 years I've been here, things are going fine. But I'm administratively over everything the college does. I have an executive committee composed of 2 vice chancellors and a business officer, but we're a smaller version of SAU Magnolia, except that we're only 2 years.
How do credits transfer from SAU Tech to SAU?
That's a real good
or
question.
Vice versa?
Every private and public higher education in the United States is under a regional accreditation association, and in this region we're all part of what's called the North Central region. And every 10 years you have to do a self-study, and they come in and visit your campus to ensure that you have a certain level of quality, and if they do that, they reaffirm your accreditation. And then as part of that process, every institution agrees to accept credits from other accredited institutions in transfer. So because we are accredited and SAU is accredited, our students automatically agree up front to accept our credits. What happens though sometimes is students take things outside of a major, so even though they accept the credit, sometimes it doesn't satisfy a degree requirement. So you hear some stories, well, I went to a 2-year college and they didn't accept my credit. Well, they really did accept the credit as like elective credit, but it may not fulfill a degree requirement. So when students come to 2-year colleges, when we advise them, we say, if you plan to transfer and you know where you're going to transfer, you ought to really follow that school's catalog and follow that curriculum. So when you transfer, there's no doubt about the fact that they're going to accept those credits. And one of the problems with 2-year colleges is that we have transfer programs and we also have vocational technical programs. And the technical programs really aren't designed as transfer programs. So if a student that's in a transfer program goes over and takes a technical course, they're in danger of that course not being accepted, especially toward a degree requirement. But so we advise our students in transfer, they should stay in the arts and sciences, in the general education, get those out of their way, and then transfer to a school where they can get their major.
Do you have a lot of students that complete their 2-year degree over there and come over here and get a bachelor's?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many. Dean's probably a good example. She's taking classes in both places. But most of the students and most of our students at SAU are in the transfer programs, even though we're called a technical institute. But most of our students transfer here or to Henderson State because they're the 2 closest. Some go to Monticello, some would go to Fayetteville, but a few. Most of them come over here or go to Henderson.
When looking for faculty, what traits do you look for them to have?
Well, when I went to SAU Tech, we put in a new hiring procedure. They submit a resume, and we do that, and we select people we're going to interview based on their resumes. But then we tell them during the interview process, you need to prepare a 20-minute teach.
SAU Magazine is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.